Today we're opening one of the weirdest corners of Jurassic Park history. That is the cancelled hybrids and forgotten experiments. These are the monsters that were buried because the movies were just simply not ready for them yet. And let's start at the very beginning here. The story begins in 1998. The Lost World had already come out, the franchises moved onto Site B, capture teams, the corporate recovery missions, you know it, you've seen it. The movie itself was a massive hit, so Kenner and Hasbro decided to push this idea even further. And that idea was that if scientists could clone dinosaurs once, what could happen then if they try to improve them? And that idea becomes extremely nasty because that idea births the toy line Chaos Effect. These toys are completely wild, almost toxic, bright green colours, reds, oranges, blues. Dinosaurs were colours that made them look poisonous, if anything. But beneath all these bright little colours, the concept was extremely dark. You see, these dinosaurs weren't just simple clones or dinosaurs brought back from extinction. These were biological mashups way before Jurassic World in 2015. No, these animals had no real place in nature. They didn't come from an ecosystem. These were animals designed by... But Chaos Effect had already played with that exact same idea 17 years earlier, only way messier, less polished, and more insane. And we're only just getting started here, because now you've got a bit of the backstory, we can actually start getting into these crazy creatures. And one of the first creatures was the Amogospinus, if that's how you pronounce it. You look at it and it feels wrong straight away. The body shape is so strange. The tail and spikes make it look like a defensive animal that has been turned into something aggressive. The colours are completely off. It has that Chaos Effect look. Then you get the Ankylorodon, basically an Ankylosaurus, is it? Mixed with a flying reptile idea? It sounds crazy. And again, look at the neon colours on this thing. The real disturbing thing here is that these animals were chosen for their parts. They were manufactured. A T-Rex was terrifying because nature had built it millions of years ago. But these hybrids are terrifying because someone sat in a room and selected the worst possible options for these monstrosities. Oh, and let's move on to the next one, the velociraptors. And this is where things start to get extremely interesting here because the designer, Tim Bradley, later said it was one of his favourite designs from the line. It mixed the idea of a velociraptor with an Archaeopteryx, I think that's how you pronounce it. A raptor pushed towards something more bird-like, more exaggerated and more strange. But now let's flip it. These were obviously toys, but you imagine that in the actual Jurassic Park universe, an actual Jurassic Park movie. InGen realizing that raptors were not enough and they decided to manufacture something more agile and unpredictable and adaptive. That's terrifying. I mean, they could change a body and challenge even that behavior. Oh, and then Chaos Effect gets even stronger than that. The Tanaconda. This is a dinosaur crossed with a snake. I don't know about you, but that design in itself is terrifying. I would have loved to have seen this on the screen. This is where things are starting to shift now because these experiments are no longer just limited to the dinosaurs. They're bringing other animals into the equation. You see, things are going to evolve from here. You see, the line itself talks about mixing dinosaur genes with modern animals, and that opens the door to something much worse. The Indominus was able to camouflage because they use cuttlefish DNA, not some extinct dinosaur, real animals we have today. But Chaos Effect was doing this way before the movie, and the results were completely shocking because we're coming on to some big hitters now. And that's without even getting into the cancelled TV show. So let's get on to the creature most people never even heard of, especially if you're a casual Jurassic fan. I know some of you hardcore fans have probably already heard this, but it's one for the history books. And that creature is the Ultimasaurus. It was a cancelled centerpiece. And the really confusing thing here is this was a cancelled toy line, but some people actually say they received and have a Ultimasaurus. This hybrid in itself kind of feels like a child designing the most powerful dinosaur possible, something out of a GojiCenter hybrid video or something, but you get my point here. This monstrosity was built of T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, Ankylosaurus, Stegosaurus, or Kentro, depending on the source of what you're reading. This isn't the species list, this is what this dinosaur was made of. Huge bite force, horns, claws, armor, tail spikes, you name it, this dinosaur or monster had it. It had almost every famous dinosaur folded into its design. It makes it sound almost ridiculous, it's too much, but then when you remember, Jurassic World basically did the same thing with the Indominus. The only issue is the Ultimasaurus was in the 90s. It was less elegant and more brutal, and an early prototype of the hybrid philosophy. And being this early into the Jurassic Park life cycle, Universal Its sponsors and toy makers didn't like this idea. They felt that the franchise was going to lose its original identity. You see, Chaos Effect was far more disturbing than it first looks. The bright colours are almost a disguise to these toys, because under the toys packaging is an idea that Jurassic World would eventually turn into and make canon, but at this point, when The Lost World had just released, Universal thought this was way too far. But Ultimasaurus isn't the bottom of the file. It doesn't end with them, because something deeper in the cancelled Chaos Effect material, another name appears. And not just the Chaos Effect material, a cancelled show. And that name is the Doomsday Rex. Doomsday Rex sounds like a predator designed to be nearly unstoppable? Almost silly, a Doomsday Rex bringing about the end of the world. You'd imagine something huge, adaptive, and unstoppable, right? This was a no dinosaur. You see, the Doomsday Rex is a scrapped kaiju-sized genetic hybrid originally planned as the main villain for a cancelled Jurassic Park animated television series in the 1990s. The concept art depicts it as a massive mutated, two-headed Tyrannosaurus Rex with extra limbs and spines. It was designed to be an invincible predator dinosaur, and would have been the biggest known creature in the Jurassic franchise. I mean, its size is enormous, surpassing that of any other Tyrannosaurus, which we've seen, about 12 meters high? This thing would have been 3 to 5 sizes larger, meaning the height would have been more than 80 meters in its length to at least 150. This is a kaiju-style level monster. The funny thing is, this would have came from a canon-based show, The Lost World Jurassic Park, conceptualized around 1996 to 1997 to be in parallel with the film, but obviously was never made into production. I mean, that would mean this Doomsday Rex would have been on Isla Sorna the time we see it in 1997, with Ian Malcolm and Sarah Harding on the island, along with Roland Temple. It's absolutely bonkers to think this thing would have been on that exact same island the Lost World Jurassic Park was taking place, and at the same time. I mean, you could literally see it from anywhere on the island, right? It'd be that tall? Bonkers. No wonder it was cancelled. You see, the plot to this show was all about genetically enhanced dinosaurs, and that is how some of these designs, like we spoke about earlier, like the Tanaconda, Armagospinus, etc., they actually made it into the toy line. The Chaos Effect toy line even had returning characters from the film, because it was intended to have a tie-in to the cartoon show. They even tried to revise the idea later on, calling it Jurassic Park Chaos Effect Animated Series, but ultimately that was cancelled as well, because these hybrids and everything we discussed was just too much for the audience and the franchise at the time. Ironically though, they obviously move into this in Jurassic Park. And not only that, they move into the huge mutant dinosaur thing in Rebirth. But let's think about something here. Imagine if these were put into the film. Imagine an abandoned InGen facility in the Lost World Jurassic Park. These embryo labs we see there wouldn't have been just for normal dinosaurs, they would have been for all these genetic hybrids, including the Ultimasaurus and Doomsday Rex. If this show and the toy line was never cancelled and was canon, this would completely change the Jurassic franchise from as early as 1997. Think about that for a second. Every film we see after that would completely change. The new Rex. These hybrids were already there, only a few years after the Jurassic Park movie. Waiting in these cancelled toy lines, these cancelled conceptual arts, and to be fair, some of them should have probably stayed there. If you'd enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Go on, subscribe right now for plenty more dinosaur content and theories like this. There's loads on the channel. I highly recommend checking these videos out after this. Massive thanks to the YouTube members who are on screen now. You guys keep the power on in the park. And if you came across the Doomsday Rex out in the open, could you dare go any worse? You bet Jurassic can. Catch you later.